Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RK Football Podcast. I'm Carl Dixon, joined by Stuart Irvine and Matt Thurney. We're going to get straight into it tonight. We've got a lot of things we want to get through, so let's go straight into it. I think there's only one real place to start right now, and as much as I hate to do it, we're going to let Matt Thurney have his celebration moment because Chelsea are the world champions. Kind of. They beat PSG in the Club World Cup final. Matt, look, you want to celebrate, and I think that's absolutely great. I do have a question though.
Go.
The guy who set up the first goal in the final, and I think he scored the third. Is that the as you called it a few weeks ago, the bang average João Pedro?
Bang average Del Pedro. Hang on a minute.
Just to point out,
you mean the guy who scored the third goal?
Yeah, the guy who scored the third goal.
and I will say that I did say that. Yes, he's proven me wrong so far. So fair enough. I'm shocked by how, like, for me, the thing I loved most was his goal against PSG. Like, he was through on goal, and I'll be honest, a lot of strikers would have probably just full pelt, like, tried to put it around him or something, and he just delightfully dinked it over him. And I just thought that is, like, coolness at its peak there, just straight over the keeper. 3-0, game was over. And I'm not going to lie, I had my little in my hands, and straight away I just passed it to my wife and just went...
By pass, are we talking basketball, rugby? What sort of... How do we pass the baby over there?
American football.
Oh, right. No, but all credit aside, it feels like Chelsea in particular, maybe PSG to a point, and obviously we mentioned the South American teams before, but in terms of top European sort of clubs with prestige, Chelsea were one of the only ones that really took it seriously this summer, and they've got the result that shows for it. So you've got to give them a lot of credit for that to me. Real Madrid to a point, PSG to a point, but Chelsea actually took this as a real serious competition.
Yeah. And I'm glad we did. I will be honest, and I will hold my hands up. I wasn't the biggest fan of this tournament. A part of me still isn't, because of the players' fatigue and all this sort of stuff. So I do still think that is a factor that needs to be taken into account going forward with this tournament. However, I much prefer this layout to the Club World Cup to what it was before. 100%. And it's allowed us to see that clubs in Brazil are actually pretty decent. They are actually pretty good.
They always were, to be fair. I mean, it's just we've never seen it because obviously we don't watch Brazilian football. So,
but to be fair, on Matt's point, we never really saw it before with some of the South American teams in particular, because the Club World Cup was played in, I don't know, Japan or Australia in December. Do you know what I mean? And they're not at their best then. It's not the right climate, whatever you want to say. So actually, it probably is better. I still have a lot of issues with the Club World Cup. Question on the impact it'll have, because you say about player fitness, and I get your point on that. I would say for someone like Liam Delap, he would have gone to the under-21 Euros anyway. So he'd have been playing a lot. But do you think the momentum of winning will be better? Will be a better thing now? I mean, if you'd have lost and gone out in the semi-finals, fair enough, the fitness is an issue. But the momentum of winning something, that feeling of winning something, might actually just set Chelsea up for a better thing.
I agree with that. I think that winning the Club World Cup was a bigger thing for Chelsea than it would have been for PSG, despite PSG would have then won everything available to them. I do stand by that. Actually, I think it meant more for Chelsea, because it's now, I think for a lot of Chelsea fans, it's then gained a lot more faith then in Enzo Maresca as well, because we're going to go into next season now having won 2 trophies under him already and got Champions League football. I think if someone said that beginning of the year to us, that's what we would have had at the end of it, I think a lot of fans would have taken it, definitely. So
some people would say that Chelsea have won the 2 competitions that are the least valuable in world football right now. But I do get your point. I do get your point.
Yeah. Yes.
So
we still won more than Arsenal.
Well,
still done better than
happy
Arsenal.
days, happy days. But yeah, it's I think we'll see some of the other teams. I think they will change how the tournament is a little bit, because it felt odd that we didn't have, for example, Liverpool involved or Barcelona, as we've said before. So I would imagine things get tweaked.
How would you change
going
it?
forward? I just think this idea of it's on European performance over a certain period needs to be, well, hang on a minute, it needs to, the league champions are the top 5 coefficiented leagues in FIFA football need to be in the competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That something has to change for that. Not that Liverpool wanted to be in the competition, I'm sure, this summer. But
it's an idea. Just this is an idea that I had, because I was sitting there thinking about it last night after we won it, like how good it was to be standing there and celebrating with Donald Trump. Like, why in Lord's name he was involved in stupid celebrations, I don't know. But basically, I think what it should be based on is, like you say, they're not based on how they done in Europe. So Chelsea won the Champions League in 2021. That's how we got into it. But our league form was nothing even close to warranting it for me. I think that it should be based on how well you've done overall in competitions. So how well have you done in the league? How well have you done in the Champions League or any other European competition? And I'm just trying to think of a good example here. A team like Real Madrid would have 100% deserved their place, because they won the Champions League twice within that 4-year period. And they've always done well, and they've always done well in the league as well. So 100% deserve their place. A team like Arsenal, you could argue, yes, they could have been in there as well. Man City, definitely. But Chelsea, I'm glad we won it. But if they were to change it, that's how I would change it.
Yeah.
And then based off points.
Let's not pretend that this isn't anything but a compromise from the Super League. It is the Super League, but FIFA's compromised to get other teams in from different continents. But you know what? It's been entertaining. Let's see how it goes going forward. It could be something to watch out for in the summer. Let's move on, though, because we've got a lot to get through. A few transfer bits. I think we need to go to Morgan Gibbs-White. This is a story that's broke over the last week. Tottenham are in for Forest Morgan Gibbs-White. Forest have already sold Anthony Elanga to Newcastle. And Gibbs-White is...
very good.
Gibbs-White is the next one out the door, it seems. So Morgan Gibbs-White has got a £60 million release clause. Tottenham have bid £60 million. So, to me, on the face of it, it is open and shut. They've hit their release clause. That's it. Do you know what I mean? If he agrees terms, he goes. Forest don't agree. Forest have considered the move off while they consult their lawyers over potential legal action. They believe there was a breach in confidentiality around his 60 million release clause. Now, here's the thing. And I don't know the ins and outs of the laws of the contracts they have, but to me, it seems bonkers to have a release clause in your contract, but no one can ever know about it. Well, what's the point? What's the point of the release clause? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if there was a breach in confidentiality. They've hit the release clause. You have agreed that he is worth £60 million if he goes. That's it.
Yeah, I think. Go on, Stu.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking why. So basically, they're annoyed because basically, Tottenham found out about the release clause and they're saying they've done it. Well, you could sit there and say that's good business, figuring out there's a release clause and then trigger.
I mean, let's be fair. It's not even figuring it out. We all know that the agent's been talking to other clubs this summer, trying to get Morgan Gibbs-White moved to a top 6 team. Regular top 6 team, should say, because obviously Forest had a good season last year. And obviously he said, look, if you want him, he's got a release clause. It's just common football business. It happens every week in the transfer window somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this is that Forest owner is a bit what's the
He's
right
iffy.
word?
Iffy.
Controversial, let's say.
Yeah,
and he seems to be throwing his toys out the pram because Elanga's gone, Gibbs-White's gone. They didn't get Europa League because they didn't qualify, but now they've ended up in the Europa League anyway. But by the seems of it, depending on how Palace's appeal goes and all this sort of nonsense, we're not even going into that anymore. But it just feels like a temper tantrum. At the end of the day, Forest are going to be not in trouble next year. I don't think they'll be in trouble, but they're not going to be challenging like they were this year because that's two massive loss, and it won't be the last of it. Like we talked about Milenkovic having such a great year at centre back. You think there isn't some top teams looking at him right now?
Exactly. I think the one thing I would like to point out is the one great business by Thomas Frank to try and engineer this move, because this is clearly a Thomas Frank signing, I think, because Daniel Levy's actually turned around and gone, right, no, he wants this player, and he's backed him. He's clearly backed him as well. This is the other thing to point out too. So he's getting the backing for this signing. But I think if Tottenham can pull this off, I think that, one, it would spell the end for James Maddison as a starter for Spurs, because I think Morgan Gibbs-White fits in a lot better into Thomas Frank's system that he'll then introduce at Spurs. I think you're going to see him starting for sure, especially with his injury record over the last few years. Madison's just terrible.
It's a good point.
I mean, just some of the quotes from this. Obviously, this is through Sky Sports, but Forest believes Spurs have made an illegal approach for the player and never granted permission for them to speak to him. Sorry, if they hit the release clause, they don't need your permission. That's how a release clause works.
Do you think Barcelona were fighting it when PSG broke their release clause for Neymar?
That's just how it works.
It's what Liverpool been doing for the last couple of years. Like, we always find out what the release clause is, and then we kind of put that exact bid so we can trigger it, so we can talk to the player. That's how we.
I will be very surprised if Morgan Gibbs-White doesn't end up at Spurs by the end of the transfer window. I'll say that much. On that note, go on.
The one thing this does remind me of, I have to point out, was when Luis Suarez is signed, when he played for Liverpool and Arsenal, the £1, the 40 million and £1. Like, it just, like, it was like, oh yeah, just do the exact minimum you could possibly get.
Wasn't that a con? Wasn't it like that wasn't a thing? Like, since they were kind of tricked into believing it was a 40 million release clause, and found out it actually wasn't. It was just a ploy to stop him from leaving.
Might have been, yeah. But yeah, go on him.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting watch. Obviously, Spurs have signed Mohamed Kudus as well from West Ham. I mean, if they do spend the 60 million on Morgan Gibbs-White, that's 115 million pounds on those two players. A lot of money being spent, and as much as we've had a go at Spurs and Daniel Levy, he's put Thomas Frank in, and he's backing him right now. So let's see how it goes. Do
you think maybe they need to keep hold of Romero if they want to be successful next season?
Yeah, Romero, probably Van der Ven as well. And then what they need to do, this is a bit off topic, but what they need to do is get Dominic Solanke fit consistently and firing. That's what Spurs need right now.
Wasn't it about service last season with him? Like,
potentially.
He wasn't getting, because obviously he's more of a box-to-box kind of striker, so he wasn't getting any service. So, in theory, with getting Gibbs-White in theory, shouldn't it be like he should be getting more chances? So, in theory, he should be getting more goals, possibly.
He unleashed that pass to get the team on the go. So, I think he would definitely help.
And I do think Kudus is going to be quite an underrated move. I think at West Ham it didn't work out for him, and I understand a lot of that, but in an attacking side looking to play front foot football, I think Kudus will be a really good player for Spurs. Let's see what happens there. Let's go from Thomas Frank Spurs to his former team, to Brentford, who obviously, in my opinion, installed an underwhelming manager appointment, and now they've had an underwhelming transfer. Jordan Henderson set to sign for Brentford on a free. It's look. I don't think for a set. There's two ways of looking at it.
Okay.
If this is the replacement for Christian Norgard, who's obviously gone to Arsenal, that's an awful piece of business. But if this is just a guy that's going to come in, probably sit on the bench, but add leadership and experience to the dressing room, it's a good deal. Do you know what I mean? There's two ways to look. If he's starting every week for Brentford in the Premier League, they've got a problem. So,
I mean, I'm surprised he got a Sunderland personally, because obviously, what you're talking about, not playing every week, but having leadership and kind of experience, you'd think, going to maybe his former club in Sunderland would be a better move for him, because obviously
they didn't want him. Maybe they didn't.
Well, they did. I think they did, but I would imagine Brentford have offered more money, and that's what it may come down to.
I think that it's a signing for me that stinks of leadership, having that experience in the dressing room for sure. Yes, it could be to fill in for Norsgaard, who's gone to Arsenal as well. But the biggest thing for me is having that experience in the dressing room for Keith Andrews as well. He needs that sort of head in the dressing room. I think right now, especially at early doors, he needs that. So,
yeah. No, I do agree. And as I say, I think there is definitely a world where it's a good transfer, but it just depends on what he's being brought in to do. They need to replace Norgard still. This is just a guy that they were going to bring in anyway, maybe, potentially.
I think there's a youngster at Brentford who they're hoping, I don't know if she's right, but they're hoping will learn off of Jordan Henderson in a way. I can't think of his name right now.
Not bad. That's not a bad idea. And when you consider the fact that Brentford have been one of the teams, as we spoke about, who have done good business and have done good football strategy over the last 5 years, we should probably back them a little bit more. It should also be said, we mentioned Forest a little bit. Forest have made a bid for Brentford's Johan Wisser as well, by the way. But obviously, there's been talk about Mbeumo to Spurs or United. From what I can read, it looks like it will be one or the other. One will go, but they won't both go.
No, the two of the top scorers going at the same window. Like that would be
a disaster.
Yeah, they're getting raided basically. Like this is like again.
Yeah, and it does feel like the year where we've had a couple of years where teams like Brentford, teams like Brighton, teams like obviously Villa and Newcastle, but I think they're probably a step above Palace in there as well.
Leicester, when they won the title, everyone started trying to get their players.
Yeah. But I'm talking about over the last 3 to 4 years. Brentford, Brighton, Palace in particular have had a good few years, right? And it feels like the players that are key for those teams are now being raided up to the big 6, the big 8, whatever you want to call them nowadays. And it feels like we're at that point of the cycle now. João Pedro going to Chelsea is a good example of that. We're at that point of the cycle where the big teams are like, right, okay, that's worked for you. I'm going to have that. You see it every 3 to 4 years, don't you? It feels like.
Yeah, I think both of them going would be a disaster for Andrews for sure. And it would be hard to see them staying up if they lost both. If they kept one of them, if you had to keep one, who are you choosing to keep? It'd be Mbeumo for me, 100%. I love Wizard, but I think Mbeumo brings a lot more.
I think he's really keen on that Man United move, though. I think because obviously
so it will be Wizard that stays. So.
Yeah. I think there'll be a lot that goes into it. Obviously, Wizard would get you less money in the door because his contract is up next summer. So that will go into it as well. But yeah, lots of interesting moves happening. Let's finish the transfer roundup on one more, and this one's caught everyone's eye. Ex-England striker Andy Carroll has joined non-league Dagenham and Redbridge.
Daggers. The daggers.
I mean, it is a bit sad, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Well, they've just been taken over by Qatari ownership, haven't they? So
sure. I'm sure he's being paid, and this is his big payday, last big payday. I get all of that, but I read a social media post earlier today that said if you take Andy Carroll's career and flip it, it actually tells such a better story. That makes sense. So hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm loading up his career path, right? Starts his career at Dagenham and Redbridge, comes through the academy, right? Hear me out.
Yeah.
Has a decent spell there, and then moves over to France where it doesn't quite work out, right? So he comes back to England in the lower leagues, has a spell at Reading, has a spell at Albion, has another spell at Reading, and then gets his big move to his boyhood club to Newcastle, where he does okay, but okay enough that West Ham United come in and he has the spell of his career at West Ham. Amazing at West Ham, and turns the head of Champions League Liverpool, right? So he moves to Liverpool. It does okay, doesn't really hit the same levels, goes back down and decides to end his career at his boyhood club at Newcastle. It's a better story, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if only football worked that way,
eh? I can't think of other players who you could really do that with, and it sounds a lot better. But I can't think of any off the top of my head, to be honest.
He's quite an interesting striker. I can't get my head around the fact that he's 36.
Can you
know what I mean? I don't know why.
It's the beard; it makes him look older. So for me, it just feels right.
No, I actually think of him as younger. I think it's where he burst onto the scene as a younger player, and then just sort of did nothing for years. So I still see him as that younger player. But looking here, he made his Newcastle debut coming on as a late substitute for Norberto Solano. So that says it all, doesn't it?
Wow. Norberto Solano. Oh, what a player he was.
When Newcastle were playing in the UEFA Cup. What a time. But yeah, on the move to Dagenham, do we think it's an actual like footballing move for him, or is it just a stunt thing for Dagenham and a payday for Carroll?
It'll get people buying tickets, that's for sure. And that's what they've needed for so long, because they've gone through a lot of hard times recently. So this could be a real turning point for Dagenham and Redbridge now. So
but doesn't he start play kind of work for non-league anyway? Kind of like kind of it's non-league's very physical anyway. Like he kind of it's a bit old school sometimes with just like a physical striker that can just head it down, or like when he like suit that kind of like when you get, it's like anything in football, isn't it? When you get older, when you get to that point, you want to kind of you go down the leagues anyway. I mean, it's just weird that he's gone to France and then played in like the fourth tier with Bordeaux, and then decided he probably could have got someone in Championship, but he decided to go to Dagenham Redbridge. It's a bit bizarre, but I think wasn't he starting to play? It wouldn't surprise me if you come back and he's like he scored like 40 goals or something, or like 35 goals. Absolutely.
That would actually surprise me, to be honest, because he hasn't done it in France. He didn't do it for Bordeaux in the fourth tier of France, playing for the team that's going to win the league. Do you know what I mean? So I would be surprised. I am also surprised when you think about the whole story, the fact that he's fell down the leagues and fell down his career, whatever. How has Andy Carroll not played for Wrexham? Is it just me?
Do you know what it could be? And this is maybe. He just, because they were on the rise, they wanted really good players, whereas he's on the decline. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. And clearly it was the right call, but yeah, another odd transfer in a a lot of them at the moment. There's a lot of odd transfers. But yeah, we'll end on the Women's Euros, but before we go there, we talked about this a little bit off camera. This wasn't on our running order, but I want to talk about it. Axel Tuanzebe is suing Manchester United for alleged negligent medical advice. He's only 27, and actually, when we were talking, me and Matt before Stuart joined our call before we started recording, he captained Man United at every level.
I never knew
that's baffled our brains.
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
I don't remember him ever captaining Man United.
Did he win like a young play, like those was it best young player or something for Man United at one point? Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
I think he came through the academy expected to be the next big thing, let's say, at centre back, and obviously it hasn't worked out for him. He did have quite a bad injury at United, and I would assume it's similar. It's something to do with that. He will be playing Premier League football again this year, though. He is at Burnley, and it'd be interesting to see what happens when he returns back to Old Trafford, whether he'll even be let in the door. The only reason I want to mention it is because I can't think of another time when a player has sued a former club like that, especially when they're still playing, still 27, still in the prime of their career, let's say.
The only one I can remember, not maybe when they're playing, is was it football? I mean, some concussion situation or something like that, like suing some for that. But that wasn't a player that actually they were like retired at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, when was the last time he played for Man United? That's the
2023.
Oh, so
he left United.
Okay, so it must have taken him a long time to get the case.
His last actual appearance was the 2021 Europa League final loss.
So he must have gone out on loan a couple of times then. So yeah,
he went out on loan to Stoke for a bit, and I think he had an injury, as we said. So, but still, it's just a bit of it's one to watch. I'd say this to anyone listening: it's one to watch because it could set new precedents, is what I'd say. We've never really seen it before. If he wins a court case against a former club for what he feels is bad medical treatment, it may open up a lot of things like this going forward, which might not be a bad thing for the players.
What's the time scale allowed? Like, back in 1999. No, sorry, no.
Yeah. Back in my day. No, I know what you mean. Let's talk about the Women's Euros then. England through to the knockout stages even, and did it in style, smashing Wales by 6-1. They've bounced back well. And what I would say is, obviously England were in the final in 2022 and won. We know that, but Germany were also in that final. They didn't win the group, and they were beaten heavily by Sweden in the last game. That's what I'm reading. Correct. Okay. Take it back.
We got lucky with that one. Yeah, because obviously we're at half time. I think we were top, and it's like if we've stayed that way, we would have played Germany in the quarterfinals. But we go see France came back and thrashed Netherlands 5-2 in the second half. So. Yeah, and we've got Sweden. It's going to be hard because basically I'm beating 11 games from what I heard. So it's going to be it's not going to be an easy game. But the way it's looking, could be another Spain-England final maybe.
Then Spain are the one everyone's watching, aren't they? Obviously, they've swept past Portugal, Belgium, and Italy in a group, which sounds really tough, but actually with women's football, I don't think is quite the same. Sweden, as we said, topped their group, which is surprised people. Norway also, by the way, took maximum points, but looked a bit frail. At the moment, Spain are the favourites according to the Opta supercomputer, 27%. England's second favourites, France third, Germany fourth, Sweden fifth, Norway sixth, Italy and Sweden. Well, Norway and Italy joint, and then Switzerland. It's been quite an interesting tournament, hasn't it? Lots of goals, which is always helpful.
Mate, definitely a big thing. It's going to attract a lot of fans. At the end of the day, I think as well, having a big victory like England did, especially against Wales, is always going to boost that confidence for a lot of fans going forward in this team as well, especially after the bad start they had. It's like they needed to rally everyone behind them and get that belief going still, because it is easy that once you lose one game in the group stage, suddenly everyone starts to panic, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
It is huge if you lose a game. So yeah, no, well done to them, and just fingers crossed now.
Yeah, I mean,
just take each game as it comes.
Well, see, I did it basically after that defeat to France. They basically scored 10 goals and they conceded 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's not a response of
there you go.
It was just a blip, guys. It's just a blip, everyone. Everything's fine. We're still the European champions. But yeah, it's it's good. I mean, I said what's a couple of games. It's that obviously that France team's something to look out for. So if I was going to put a dark horse, I'd put on the French to be a dark horse to win it. But yeah, I mean, it's been really good tournament personally. It's been really good.
Absolutely. And would definitely be, like I say, fingers crossed for England. I've said before on this podcast, I can't see them winning it again, but I'd love to be wrong on that one.
Yeah.
We have whizzed through here, by the way, so it's going to be not quite a shorter episode because a couple of things we want to talk about to end it off. We mentioned in the last episode we wanted your guys' unpopular footballing opinions. We've had one on TikTok that we would like to talk about. Now, it's from a account called Xerxes.ftbl, so Xerxes Football. So, look, a Joshua Xerxes fan account, and you will be very surprised to hear that he is saying really good things about Joshua Xerxes. He says Xerxes would start for at least 18 teams in the Prem, and goes on to say he's a great striker or centre attacking midfielder, and the only two he can't see him starting for is City and maybe Newcastle. I'm going to let you guys go first because I know where you're going to go with it. Stu, you're laughing already.
I was absolutely shocked by that comment. I've got to be honest, because obviously another person put, was it Suarez? Was it? But it was not Suarez. Mo Salah's like the best player ever, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that one. But when I saw the Xerxes one, I'm just like, 18 of the 20 teams in the Premier League, and it's basically start. So like, he's sitting there saying he would start for Liverpool. He would start for, was it? Like, I'm just sitting there going, I'm speechless, really. It's like, and also his kind of argument, I think I asked him, but it's kind of interesting. Like, I kind of elaborate on that, and he kind of didn't really answer it. He just kind of said he's really good, and he's really good player. I'm like, it's not really answering the question, though, is it? It's a shocking one, to be honest. But again, it's what we wanted. So technically, we got what we wanted in a way. So
obviously, I mean, I don't agree with his opinion that start for 18 teams. But I do think Xerxes is one of these players that probably is a little underrated at the moment. I don't think he's been given a real fair shake of it at Man United. It feels like he's made more sub appearances than starts. I'll say that much. He's had some injuries as well. He's never really sort of kicked into gear at United, but he was so highly rated at Bayern Munich coming through that academy. Very highly rated. Obviously had the year at Bologna, scoring 8 goals in 16 games, which is a really good record in a good league. Clearly, there is a very good player in there. And there are talks about him leaving this summer to Atalanta, which may be the case because it may be that Amorim doesn't like that style of player. But I do think if this person would have changed their wording from 18 to maybe 10, I don't think is wrong. I think it probably does get into, if we're talking, you take away the top 8 right now, he probably does start for majority of the teams left. Just me?
I see what you're getting at. Do
you think if he was at Brighton he wouldn't start? Do you think if he was at West Ham he wouldn't start?
No, he wouldn't start at West Ham.
No, I think at Brighton he would. No. I think at Brighton he might, because obviously kind of, again, he's another player that's gone to Man United, and because of how that club's run and how that kind of like atmosphere in that place, it's really hard to kind of thrive in an environment like that. For example, if he went to Brighton or Villa, I would say probably.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd start quite at Villa, but he'd definitely be in that. He's probably a similar level player to Marlon, who's at Villa at the minute and hasn't quite kicked off his career yet, but definitely there's a player there. But I think Stu's right. I think because he's playing for this Man United with the toxicity of the club, I think people just go, oh, well, he's crap. I think he's a decent player in there, and I think if he was playing for a different team, people would be talking about how good he is, if that makes sense. For example, let's talk. I mean, we talked about them earlier, and they're obviously making good moves. I think he'd be a great player under Thomas Frank at Spurs. Someone to actually really coach him and turn him from potential to a good player. I'm not saying I agree with their opinion. 18 clubs is ridiculous. I don't think he gets in a Champions League team, probably the Europa League teams as well. He doesn't get in at Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Villa, I would say. Spurs, I think he may. I think he probably should be starting for United. If I'm honest, it's not like any of the other strikers have done anything. So I don't get why he wasn't given a better chance at United as well.
Oh.
It's just a feeling I get.
It's broken.
Has he frozen?
Oh, it's gone.
He's back.
There we go.
I honestly do think though that the demand on players to hit the ground running now is a lot higher than it's ever been. He's only been at Man United a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's only 24 years of age.
He's only 24 years of age, and he's barely been given a chance at Man United. Let's be honest.
Wasn't he getting criticism like in the first couple of months? Like I think it's like 1 or 2 games, and it's like one bad performance, and all of a sudden everyone's got like an opinion on him.
He scored on his debut. That was always going to be a good start. But I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to turn into a phenomenal player. I don't see it personally myself. I think a lot of players these days are too versatile. They're not just brilliant in one position. And I think he's a perfect example of that. But I do agree with what you're saying there, Carl. I think, 10 teams, I think, he would get into.
Let's go through it. Let's go through it, and we'll figure out what we all think. We'll come to a consensus, right? Let's debate this unpopular opinion. So we all agree: Liverpool, no; Arsenal, no; City, no; Newcastle, no; Villa, I would say no. Personally, I just don't think he gets in ahead of Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, no.
We say Chelsea. Chelsea?
Yeah, I would.
Chelsea,
Liam Delap
Chelsea,
and
no.
João Pedro, even though
agreed. Forest is an interesting one.
No, he don't get in over Chris Wood.
I just don't think his style. I don't think his style of play would suit them, would it? Like suit him?
No,
really,
I think I agree. But he's definitely a player that if he went to Forest, he would push Chris Wood all the way. I think. Potentially, but we'll say Forest as well. Who else we got? Palace. I think he would start for Palace.
No, over Mateta. No.
Again, style-wise, it's style-wise. It just wouldn't fit him. I don't think.
No. And if they keep Eze, I'm sorry, just no, he don't fit in at all. Yeah.
We mentioned Brighton. Me and Stu think yes to Brighton, so we'll say yes to Brighton. Sorry, Matt.
Who's their starting striker?
No one at the minute because you've stolen.
No, we got Ferguson, haven't you?
Well, Ferguson was on loan at West Ham last season, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, he hasn't hit his potential just yet. Because obviously, I remember it's like if you're an FM fan, it was like golden.
He scored a hat trick and then suddenly was quoted 100 million price tag on him. He's got a hat trick. Get over yourself. I
can't quite understand how he doesn't start for Brighton, but Roma want him. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Bournemouth. I think.
Evan Nilsson. No, Evan Nilsson. I would say Evan Nilsson for me. He's shown the quality enough that for me he is good enough to be there still. But
but we're not saying he walks into the team. But we're saying
that is what this guy is saying. This is what this fan page is saying. He starts in the team.
I would say at a Bournemouth, I think he probably suits his football, Xerxes, and he goes there and he pushes Evan Nilsson out of the team.
He doesn't start. I'm not
Brentford.
saying that.
Brentford starts for me.
No, over Wissa, no.
Yeah, but Wissa and Mbeumo can play on the wings together. That's what they're all interchanging. They're all interchanging. He starts for Brentford. I'm sorry.
No.
Fulham.
Who's their
starts for Fulham?
Starts
for Fulham.
Over
Ralph Jimenez, yeah.
No, not Jimenez. No, he's not their main striker. What's his name?
Rodrigo Muniz.
Rodrigo. No, again, Rodrigo.
No, I think this is the Man United thing. If you think Xerxes isn't as good a player as Rodrigo Muniz, I don't know what to tell you. Look at what he's done in his career. Look at what he's already done at Bologna, even at a young age. He would be better.
Like this is, but it's a very short time period. Like he's done it over 16 games and scored 8 goals. Okay, yeah, well done to him. Michu done the same thing for Swansea one year. It could just be a one-off.
I can't even. Right. I mean, I think Rodrigo's a very good player. A little bit, 8 goals. They might be on a similar level at best, but yeah. I think he goes in there and really gets a lot of starts. Let's say. Where am I looking at? Who else? Palace. We spoke about Everton. I think he starts for Everton.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everton, I'd agree with. Now Calvert-Lewin's gone, I think, definitely.
I think he started over Calvert-Lewin as well, to be honest. Calvert-Lewin,
with his injury,
in 3 years?
Problems.
Is
it Beto?
Beto, he starts over Beto. I'm sorry. Beto's a solid player at best, but he's got the first touch of a donkey and he can't really finish that well. Let's be fair. So
didn't he get like 4 or 5, like 8 goals by
he got some goals under Moyes because Moyes played to his strengths, which was
hang on a minute. Is it 8 goals in 16 games?
He starts over Beto. I'm sorry, he doesn't. West Ham, I think he starts. Stu thinks starts as well, I think. Did you say?
Again, it's style-wise. It depends. Obviously, maybe Potter, maybe, because obviously, if it was like David Moyes type thing with cat. But yeah, I think Potter could probably get a good tune out of him, so I wouldn't be against that. So I think West Ham, yeah.
I don't know who he would play. Who would play ahead of him? That's the thing at somewhere like West Ham. The fact they had Ferguson on loan and it didn't work out says a lot.
Well, they've got a striker issue, haven't they? Because obviously,
I think he starts there. Man United, he should probably be starting more, arguably. I mean, he's had his injuries, so that's part of it.
Can I just point out something here? Is that we've listed all these teams, and majority of them we've said no. We've got to Man United, and we said he should be starting. This shows the level that Man United are at.
Yeah. Man United right now. Man United right now are at the level of Everton, West Ham, Palace, that sort of team. In my opinion, I mean, maybe that's a bit harsh on Palace. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. You have to have them there. Wolves.
Yeah,
I think he probably does.
Probably. I agree with that because
over the big Swede they've got. Yeah. Tottenham's an interesting one. I wouldn't play him over Dominic Solanke, but Dominic Solanke's had such bad injury issues, he probably would have started. So it's Tottenham's such a misnomer down there. You can't really, judge.
Based on paper, we wouldn't start, but yeah, I agree with that.
And then depending on which way you want to look at it, the 3 relegated teams, he starts. He pushes Liam Delap, that's for sure, at Ipswich. And then the 3 promoted teams, if you want to go that way, I think he starts. I think he starts. So you would
possibly Leeds. I see him doing around Leeds.
Would you say there's about 6 or 7 teams we've said that he could
probably 6 or 7, and there's a 2 or 3 more. You're like maybe depends, and so
he's right in a way again. He's right, but he overdone his point.
No, he's not right.
18's wrong. 18's
I am not saying he's right. Wrong. No way he's right. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make the point. I do think he's underrated by people because of the Man United connection. If he would have joined, I don't know, a Brighton or a Bournemouth when he left Bayern Munich, I think we'd be talking about a very different career right now. For Xerxes, and I think we'd be talking about him in the same levels as you've mentioned Evan Nielsen and all these sort of players. I think we'd be talking in the same sort of way.
Yeah. I did have another unpopular football opinion I heard this week.
You heard, or
it's not my own. I promise you, it's not my own.
Go on.
Because you know it's not my own because I'm about to say.
Absolute sting from last week.
I honestly, I think it's a very interesting one, if anything. Bruno Fernandes starts for the majority of teams around Europe. And I said to him, "Are you sure?" And he went, "Including PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona." I was like,
"No." I mean, If you go by that logic, if he was, why is it when he was looking like he was leaving, none of the big clubs are going after him? Like, if he's supposed to be this player that gets starts most, he'll start in most of the big teams in Europe. It's like, well,
I think his attitude let him down. His attitude lets him down.
That's the point I was about to make. If we're talking about pure footballing ability, maybe 70% of the top European teams, maybe not a Real Madrid, maybe not a PSG with the way they've played this year. But if we're talking, if we're talking the Premier League teams, it probably does start footballing ability wise. But it's his attitude. It's his body language. I mean, the fact that he's Man United captain is a big problem for that club because he's not a captain. He doesn't inspire people.
That's all he is.
You look at other sports. I don't know how much you guys do watch other sports, but obviously, as we've been recording this, I've been watching some of the England Test cricket today, and Ben Stokes is the England Test captain, and he inspires people, and that's what you want out of a captain. You think back to some of the previous top footballing captains, and while throw him in there for you, Stewie, this isn't against him this time. Steven Gerrard was a terrific captain, genuinely one of the best captains the Premier League has ever seen, despite not winning it. But he was such a good leader, such a good inspiration. Roy Keane absolutely inspired people, even to this day.
Do you think that the era of these, not born leaders, I wouldn't like to say that, but do you think this era of those type of leaders there's not really many around anymore as much as there used to be? I don't think.
I get your point, but I just think it's they tend to not have the attention they used to have, and I think that's they just go about. I mean, we mentioned Jordan Henderson earlier in the recording, right? Who's obviously now going to play for Brentford. At Liverpool, he was a really great captain, and for a captain, for a leader, he was terrific. But people didn't really talk about that with him because that's not what that Liverpool team were known for. So I think that's some of it. And I think when a captain is so uncaptain-like, people talk about it like we are now with Bruno Fernandes. To bring it back to it, I think even with his attitude, he probably plays for half of the top European teams, let's say. If you're talking a Dortmund, a Bayern Munich, a Barcelona, probably I'm thinking Italy. He plays for Milan. He plays for all the.
He plays
Italian
for every
teams.
team in Italy for me.
Yeah, all the Italian teams.
Yeah.
To be honest, we're probably only talking PSG, Real Madrid, maybe City, even without the Man United connections. Maybe Liverpool, but I think I'm not sure because
I could say
because you look at, I mean, to be fair, the Liverpool they brought in Wirtz and all that, so maybe not now, but Liverpool of last season, I don't know, he might find his way in there because he clearly is such a talented player, and if he would just get his head down and focus on his football and not his sponsorship deals or being the big man or whatever it is. Let's be honest, he wants to be Ronaldo and he's not Ronaldo. But that's the issue.
This is the one thing I said to this person when they said it. I said that if you're talking about the Bruno Fernandes before last season, I would have probably said no. I disagree with that completely. I don't think he's good enough. But last season, he was, I would even go as far as to say, fantastic. And an argument could be made of he could have been in that team of the year with how good he was playing for Man United at times.
I get your point, but this is the thing. You've said that, but Man United had the worst season they've had forever. So that shows how much of a problem he is to that team. Because yes, individually he's played very, very well, but he's made no impact on results, made no impact on the team.
But then couldn't you not say the same about this is going back a long way, but could you not say the same about when Scott Parker done it for West Ham in the year I think they stayed up and he was like the player of the season for him.
But they went down, didn't they? But they finished bottom. I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like he was a fantastic.
Yeah, but I think that West Ham team, who had been up and down from the Championship for a few years, is a very different conversation to Man United. That's what I'm trying to say.
But I do think that his attitude, I will 100% agree that his attitude does stink.
Yeah.
And I think if he wants to play for one of the big teams in the world, that needs to change. I don't see him ever leaving United, though. Personally, I don't think he ever would.
I think the ship has sailed on his big move. Really, if I'm honest, it was last summer that his big move was there. To be at that United team now, he has been. He's like a skunk. He stinks of United right now, and it's a problem for him.
But it's like. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like no big clubs going, like they said, no big clubs going after any of those Man United players right now. To be fair, so like last season maybe, but this season, like was it all the season prior? But no big European. That's probably what it is. But no big European clubs looking at that Man United team and going, "Oh, I'll take him." It's like they're all looking at that team going, "Yeah, I'll go to the next team. Maybe I'll go and pick somebody else because no one's going there." That Man United, none of them players.
Mm-hmm. I think there is one place he goes though if he was to leave in the next 2 years. And it's Saudi Arabia. That's where he goes.
Yeah.
Did you got how long has he left for? 2 years? 2 more years on his contract?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But I mean, I think when it's all said and done, people will be talking about Bruno Fernandes and go, what a great player he was on his day. It's such a shame that he never became the player he was supposed to be. And you can talk about Man United being a problem and all of that goes into it. He's not at the best place to play his football. I get all of that. But he will never be talked about in the same way as some of the Premier League or Manchester United legends, and he shouldn't be.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean? There are people out there right now that will say he's as good as Lampard was, as Gerrard was, as Roy Keane was, as definitely not Scholes if we're really honest. But these sort of players, he's not in that league. No. He's just not in that league.
I think for me, if someone was to say where does his career land, like in terms of like what he's achieved, all that sort of stuff, how good he was, all those little things, I would probably put him in the same bracket as maybe Christian Eriksen.
I get your point. I do get your point.
Like someone that's not achieved loads, like in terms of trophies, that sort of thing, but still that quality is shone through.
Yeah, I get it. Here's a question on it though, and it's similar to what you asked, right? Do you think if Man United were a superpower now, as in winning leagues, winning Champions Leagues, do you think Bruno Fernandes plays?
Yes.
Do you think he plays in a team that's winning the Champions League and the Premier League?
Yes, because you still need that sort of player in your side who's going to do like to play the style that he plays, do the dirty work as well as.
So I get that, but by your logic, then you're saying yes, he walks into PSG's team and he walks into Real Madrid's team.
The difference there, though, is that they've already got players like him who are better. I think that's my argument there.
And younger.
Yeah, exactly.
But I agree. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're not challenging for these things, partly because of all the issues, but also because Fernandes isn't good enough to be leading them to that level.
But chances are, if Man United are at that level, this was like main point of, if Man United are at that level, Bruno Fernandes does play, yes, but is he as big of a player as what he is now at Man United? No, he's probably like what Scott McTominay was at Man United, like a player that comes off the bench,
squad player.
Yes, exactly, squad player. Fair. Yes, that's where he then begins.
I mean, look, I've said before on this podcast, Bruno Fernandes disappoints me as a football fan. That's how a lot of people feel, because he has such raw ability, and you can see it. You can see that he could, if he really wanted to be one of the top players in world football. I don't doubt that he has that talent in there, but he is just so disappointing to watch on a regular basis that it's just hard to fit. Like, if I'm a United fan, I want him out of the team, to be honest, if I'm a United fan at this point, because he is a figurehead of failure for this United team now.
That'd be maybe an interesting question to ask some people, is that where, like, if like Man United fans, because it is, I get what you mean. Like, because if next season Ruben Amorim wants to now get them back to the times where they used to have, it's going to take a long time for them to get back there. But is he a player that's then going to be your starting player? He probably will be next season, purely because you've got to build that team up. But
he will be. He will be. But it's like we said, and to bring it around to where we start, the fact that, you know, an Atletico Madrid, for example, or a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, maybe, the fact that these teams aren't in for him says a lot about Bruno Fernandes, because
not even going to be rumoured.
Well, this is what I'm saying, because, for example, if what am I thinking of? Arsenal, right? They win the Invincibles. The year after, they finish 12th in the league, right? Do you think the likes of Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry are not snapped up straight away by a top team? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no talk about Bruno Fernandes going to a top team. There's no interest in it. And he is playing for the 15th best team in England.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
But
I think go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, if you guys have anything else you want us to debate, please do let us know. We'll be back next week. With more nonsense, more outlandish opinions, and more Matt Thurney saying silly things and being proven wrong, like the bang. Is he just average, João Pedro, now? Should we get rid of the bang?
I haven't said I've been proven wrong. He could flop still. He's had a good start. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe if he becomes like, you know, the player of the signing of the summer, as we're going to put it out, then you've got to put out that some sort of public apology for that.
Yeah. There's got to be a working Wales system as well, right?
I tell you what.
No, but he's done well. He's done well at the Club World Cup, and he's won you the Club World Cups, and now he's got rid of the bang. He's just average now, and then he turns into a decent player, good player, very good player. Let's see where he gets to.
If he scores, this is my promise, and I'm making this on camera, okay? If by the end of the season, João Pedro scores more than 12 league goals for Chelsea, I will do a forfeit on camera.
That's an outrageous thing to say, by the way.
12 league goals.
You could get that by
by December, I think I'll cry.
The reason I say it's outrageous is because I'm pretty sure, and I'm just double checking, how many league goals did Nicholas Jackson? Nicholas Jackson got 14 league goals 2 seasons ago and 10 league goals last season. Yeah. If you think João Pedro can't get 12,
he was our starting striker.
That's just too low. Like, you just
João Pedro's just started and won you the Club World Cup.
Yeah, but I think Liam Delap will be our starting striker going forward.
We'll see. That's a conversation for a different day. We'll see. Let's wrap this up. It's 1 hour 16. What are we doing? Let's wrap it. No one's listening to us for 1 hour and 16. They're breaking us up into chunks at best. But if you are listening, then fair play to you, and we'll be back next week.
We love you.
Yeah. Right. See you guys later.
Take care. See ya.
Bye.